a game that many of us know little about, but countless of us are extremely excited for. Today's video, we're going to be talking about No Man's Sky, a game that I personally am very excited for and is coming out on August 9th. I'm going to be making a series on it once it does come out, but coming up to that, I do want to kind of start a series where I talk about it a little bit and elaborate on it, and that is going to begin with this episode where we're just going to talk about the premise of the game, and then in future ones I will be kind of elaborating on more specifics up until that final launch. So without further ado, let's talk about No Man's Sky and why you might want to be excited for it. So for basic information about No Man's Sky, the game is mainly about exploration and survival in a ridiculously huge procedurally generated universe. When I say ridiculously huge, it's probably ridiculously huger than what you think of with ridiculously huge. Specifically, over 18 quintillion procedurally generated planets, all with unique procedurally generated species on them. If there are species, sometimes species will not be present on a planet versus other times they will be present. That's ridiculous. And in case you don't know how much quintillion is, or kind of to put it to scale, that would be the number 18, followed by 18 0. Absolutely ridiculous to think of, and realistically, a vast majority of these planets will remain unexplored, their species unseen in the great universe that players will be exploring. And that's just insane to think of, that this game is so huge, we will not explore all of it. There is literally estimates saying that it will take over 5 billion years to fully explore this. That's just insane to think of, that the game is that big. Now, in a universe this big, you're probably asking yourself, is this a multiplayer game? Is it gonna be like a huge MMO? Is it like Star Citizen on crack? Well, not really. So for the most part, the game is going to seem like it's single player. It technically is multiplayer, and you might very, very rarely come across another player, but you might just as well not notice them because their ship is not gonna have like a name tag above it. You might literally just fly past another player and never have a clue. And that's kind of like sad to think of, that in this insanely vast and for you pretty lonely universe, that you might very well just fly past, you know, the only other person you might ever encounter. But now let's get a little bit into the meat of the game, because as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people have had questions about this game and just, what is the point of the game? What do you actually do in No Man's Sky? We've seen how vast it is, we've seen how cool the universe is, but that's a question that a lot of people have had, is just, what is the point? So there's an overarching objective, at least to my knowledge, and that is to reach the center of the universe. And along the way, you will need to upgrade your suits to kind of be able to survive in more toxic planet environments, upgrade your ship to have, for example, like I believe it's a hyperdrive, so you can jump further distances to further planets and ultimately reach the center. What is in the center is not revealed, and that is for better, because that is the point of the game. They're not going to reveal what's there, but everyone is going to be going there. That is the point of interest, and everyone wants to discover what's there until launch, and probably not until a couple weeks, maybe even months after launch, depending how far away you are from the center of the universe. We will not know. Now back on the topic of those ship upgrades, suit upgrades, etc., because I believe there are going to be more upgrades than just those two. That's just kind of the two examples that popped into mind. Upgrades are going to cost money, which can be earned in a variety of activities. One of those activities is discovering creatures. I don't know if discovering planets will do it. I feel like that might, but I haven't actually read anywhere that that will do it. Mining asteroids and getting resources. You can also mine on planets and get resources from there, etc. All of that will be able to earn you some of that moolah, which you can then use to improve your personal abilities and ship abilities in your quest for the center. You do, however, have to be a little bit careful when you are attempting to earn this coin, because animals can be either aggressive or not aggressive. So you could run across an animal while you're mining, and then there's a very angry animal with very angry intentions of turning you into a very angry grave. So you do have to be careful. And then also planets, some planets I believe have like a strong robotic guardian presence. I think the presence of them kind of varies from planet to planet, but planets can have those robotic guardians that pretty much serve as the police of the area. And partaking in too much activity detrimental to a planet, such as mining too many of its resources, killing its wildlife, etc., can trigger them to engage you, and the more you do, the more you draw their attention, the more they're going to come to you, the more you're going to have to fend them off and engage in combat. So that is where the combat role does come into play. So there will be combat in the game, in case some people have been questioning that, and these guardians are going to be relatively formidable foes. Speaking of formidable foes, you will also be able to partake in space combat. It's not just going to be combat on the surface, there's also going to be space combat, which you can partake in your ship against space pirates. There are also going to be like alien factions that you can trade with and stuff. I don't know if you can partake in combat with them, maybe if you like pick a side or something. That's just kind of guessing on my part, but those will be ships you see in outer space, but the ones you can definitely engage in are going to be the space pirates. Now onto a little bit of a less violent topic. If you are the first person to discover a certain species of creature or a specific planet, you have the privilege of naming them specifically. So if you discover something that looks like two cheeks, go ahead, name them butt face. If another player, unless like there's filtering, which I believe that there will be, so you can't just call something obscene and get away with it, there might be filtering. So if another player runs across the species and or planet you discover, they will get to see the name that you named them, which is kind of cool. You get to leave your footprint on a planet and or on a species, and other people will be able to see that, and it's just kind of like that. Those small interactions where you'll be like, someone has visited this planet, or you'll be the first one to be here and like, I am the first person to explore this. It just it's cool. It's not even a huge feature, it's just a really cool one, I guess is the best way of putting it, at least in my opinion. Like I was talking earlier with the alien factions, they will kind of serve as NPCs in this, in that there will be alien traders that you work with and kind of alien NPCs. So you won't necessarily know their language when you encounter them. However, the more you encounter a certain species of intelligent alien that is capable of trading and all that, the more you begin to kind of understand them and build a relationship with them through dialogue and speech. So at first, you might have absolutely no clue what you're saying, and you might say something awful, really piss them off, but the more you talk with that species in different encounters, the more you kind of learn their language and the more you can begin to understand the dialogue. Another way of also being able to Rosetta Stone your way to a better understanding of a language is you can find these monoliths on planets, and you can read them on planets. They're like huge stone structures, something like that, and then you can read them, and that serves as upping your proficiency in that language. And then the better you get at understanding them, the better you will be able to trade with them and hopefully get better deals. However, in your encounters with these NPCs, there aren't going to be any traditional quests like go to planet blah 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 and get me a space cow. I don't know, something like that. Nothing like that. There aren't going to be traditional quests. What is going to guide you and be your quest is trading and exploration. Those are your primary motivators in your pursuit towards the center of the universe. Expect updates to the game, no DLC plans at the moment, and that about covers it for the general gist of the game. Like I said, I am going to be talking more about it in future videos leading up to me starting a series on the game once it launches August 9th. If you want to watch those videos coming up to that, or maybe even watch the series, I urge you guys to subscribe, and also if you liked the video, if you thought this was cool, so I'd like doing informative videos every once in a while, hit that like button and let me know what you think of No Man's Sky, along with any questions you might have. I'll try and answer them, but I don't necessarily know everything about the game, so keep that in mind. But let me know. I do love interacting with you guys. But until August 9th, there are still questions that have no answers, such as what lies at the center of the universe. But mysteries like that are what have us all on the edge of our seats, just excited for launch, and not to mention the countless more mysteries that will surface after we begin to explore the vast and wonderful universe of No Man's Sky. Thank you guys for watching the video as always, and hopefully I'll see you next one.